just keep
All
talking,
right.
but that way, yeah. So it's good to be back. It's been a while since we've been able to. On top of the, some of the other issues that I've been having, health-wise, I'm having the issues with my ESPN Plus account, so I didn't even get to watch that Albany Firewolves beat the Rochester. And I could have been out at that game as well, actually. Utica Yeti played the Rochester Bats, or they might have been Bank City out there. Sometimes they play as a tournament team called Bank City. And actually, I think those guys played, and the Bats came back and won. But it was from what I
Ooh,
heard from everybody out there, it was like they came back at the last minute, and it was a crazy close game. So that's really cool.
nice. So they
Yeah,
got to play during halftime then, hey?
yeah, yeah. No,
Sweet.
no, not during halftime. They played at 1 because they wanted me to go out and film it, but it was my son's 16th birthday.
Ah,
Yeah. Plus, I had just had the hip operation the week before on my
yeah.
labrum, so it really wouldn't have been fair to me to be like, "Hey, come spend your 16th birthday dragging gear around and filming a men's lacrosse league for my buddies, and we get free tickets and we get to go to the Firewolves." And he's like, "In Albany?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Wait, how far is Rochester?" I was like, 3 hours. He's like, "Yeah, definitely not interested." I don't think he was even interested in Albany, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him. It's not really his thing. But he did a great job. He went out and did that. We did a fundraiser tournament for Elfie Jocks. I'm putting some highlights out. We've got some on the YouTube channel. We're about to have a lot more coming out. I got to set a drive folder up for all those guys because wow, you want to talk about some exciting lacrosse. Those guys are so good. Like there's so many players out there that are so good. There's a bunch of them that played in the PBLA. There's a couple guys out there that have been on some NLL rosters.
Oh, wow.
That were on there this year. Yeah, it was it's impressive. I love watching it. And we get the best seat in the house. We're so spoiled. It was such an honor to be a part of it. LP Jocks, who has helped so many people. He helped keep the tradition alive. He makes the wooden sticks, and he's taught so many guys that I met through the Yeti. And actually, I because of his booth at Albany, I ended up meeting Lyle Thompson and got my nephew's picture taken with him. So yeah,
Nice.
so it's kind of like cool, and it's really funny how these small things kind of you know go hand in hand. But
Yeah, no,
small
that
world.
sounds great,
Yeah,
man.
so we got a lot of catching up to do. It has been a while since we've talked, and actually, other than the Rochester game, it's been business as usual for Albany. But we had that. You, on the other hand, tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a fan of a winning team.
Yeah, it is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. There's a few these last few games. At a certain point, you're like, I was sitting there being like, "Okay, you can stop scoring now. I have to do the stats. Like you're just showing off at this point."
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that. You're like, come on, guys, I got to try to pay attention to this and get it all. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. But anyways, like I said, nice to be a winning fan. So tell us a little bit. Panther City, they were on a pretty good run. Kind of looked like they were coming back. It looks like you guys put them in their place, and you had a 12-5 win against them.
Yeah. Well, uh, Panthers City just clinched a playoff spot last week, I think it was. So, first time in franchise history, they're gonna go to playoffs. Unfortunately, Vegas missed out when they got defeated by Calgary last week.
Well, and that's something. So Vegas has had come on pretty strong towards the end, and then they're not doing quite so great now. They had a pretty good run, and by that I mean I think what it was a 3-game bender they went on, and then they kind of got put in their place, and it hasn't been quite as good for them since. But wow, they did all right. But Calgary has been very steady. They didn't start off the best, but like ever since a little bit of a rocky start, they have not taken their foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, no, and having a couple crucial guys back in our lineup for Vegas really helped because Pace Pace was out for a bit, Cornwall was out for a bit. But the funny thing is because Calgary has that next man up mentality we've talked about, they still managed to pull through.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. And when you look through the stats, they don't have somebody that has all of their points. I mean, they've got a couple
Yeah,
guys that are up top. The leader, obviously, Jesse King. He's been great, but the Cornwall brothers have been good. You guys have gotten production out of everybody up there, and you did send me the stats for this last game where against Vegas. That was
yes, I
now
did.
you started getting a little nervous there. It sounded like.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. It looked like, especially in the third and fourth, Vegas looked like they were coming back with a vengeance, from what I saw.
Yeah, and they definitely have the talent to do it. It's not like, they don't have the offensive capabilities, but thankfully for you, you've got you've got pretty good defense. So
Yeah,
and you've got your main man back there.
yeah. We got Delves at the back of the net, and then we got Jeff Jeff Cornwall, Zach Courier
Yeah, there's just
playing at the end. Yeah,
so much.
right.
So why don't you take me through the stats?
Okay, so which game do we want first? Vegas?
Do you want to start with Vegas or do you want to start it earlier and work your way forward? It's up to you, bud.
I'll start with the Panther City game on the 8th.
All right, let's roll with that one.
Okay, so 2-1 after the first quarter for Calgary. Calgary's goals came from Jesse King and Waters. And for Panther City, we have, I'm probably going to butcher this name, P. Calypto with the
Cap-
only goal of
Caputo.
the first. Caputo.
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm so close on that one.
Yeah, you were very close on that one, but yeah, that's Caputo. He's pretty he's one of their yeah. He had a couple but that's a little bit later on.
Yeah, and then at the half, it was 6-2 for Calgary.
Yeah.
Calgary got 4 goals. Cookie got one. Waters got one. Hayden Dixon got one, and Jesse King put another one in there.
And then Panther City Caputo on the power play.
Yep, that is right.
Yeah, Phil Caputo. He
Yep.
is he's yeah, as he had a couple.
Yeah, and then the third quarter, we had 8-4 for Calgary, and Calgary had pace times 2 once on the power play. And for Panther City, there was T. Malcolm and Jay Wanerick.
And how that just rolls off your tongue. I'm looking at that like, how am I going to pronounce that? And that's just like, rep, rolled right off your tongue. Look at you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely beat me on that one. But and that's the thing. So really, that was as close as Panther City was going to get there. And
yeah,
really, they came out. They had it was a 3 goal run. If you look to the from the second quarter towards the end of the second quarter into that, and then Pace steps up, puts them in their place, and then fourth quarter rolls around and Simpson, Simpson's one of those guys. He doesn't get a lot of goals, but he gets a handful of goals, and he is just so. He's one of those underrated players in the league. Like he could definitely be a first team, player.
yeah. No, they're they're all amazing guys to watch for sure. And then in the fourth, we had Jesse King on the power play as well as Josh Courier and Cookie once more.
Yeah, and Will Malcolm. So the Will Malcolm has been a young player for Panther City, very talented young man. He had his brother Tony played for Albany last year. He's a really good transition player. He gets up the floor pretty well. They're both doing great, but Will has really kind of taken off this year. But I mean, Calgary's you know defense in Del Bianco, you look at how Will Malcolm shot, and he took 7 shots on goal, and he had 1 goal, 1 assist.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I keep in the videos I've seen of the Roughnecks and stuff. It's they the guys keep talking about not to feed Delves' ego or anything, but he should definitely be in the talks for MVP.
Well, and the whole reason I think that I mean, there is definitely he's on the
Yeah,
radar. He
yeah,
at one point he was talked about on Coast to Coast. I can remember those guys talking
yep.
about it. But a big problem I think that hurts him is when you look at it, he had 32 saves. I mean, it doesn't sound that impressive.
Yeah,
Not when you get like Matty Vince is making 40. Doug
yeah,
Jamison playing for Albany. Sometimes he's getting 50 shots a goal, a game. Almost
yeah,
some nights 60 shots. It's insane. We'll talk about that a little bit here in a little while. But
yeah. No, I think Delp should definitely be on the radar for sure because of how much he does for this team, game in and game out.
yeah, let's hear some of your other. I know you always got some little tidbits for us and the fun facts and
Okay, top goal getters of the night for that night were Jesse King for Calgary with 3 goals, and Panther City we have Faye Capito with 3
Phil
as well.
Caputo, yeah. And
Caputo, yeah,
what I noticed though is that so he had 2 goals and he only got 4 shots. So unless he got injured, that means Calgary just completely figured him out and basically found a way to tune him down. And
yeah,
looks like their entire offense. I mean, they only had 32 shots, so that's less than 10 shots a quarter, which is very good.
yeah. And then with a total of 12 loose balls, we have the Calgary champ Zach Courier, and for Panther City we had William with 9 of the night.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Calgary had 40 shots on both Panther City goalies. And Panther City had 46 shots on Delps.
Yeah, so Daymood, he's usually the starter, I think, for Panther City. And
Yeah.
looks like he was in there for 12 saves, 6 goals, so 50%. Looks like Calgary really had him figured out pretty good. And then McLeod came in, Cam McLeod, with 22 saves, but they both
Yeah.
gave up 6 goals. So they gave
Yep.
McLeod the loss, but that's
Yeah.
why I wonder maybe McLeod when did they change goalies? Was it early?
It was pretty early, yeah.
So yeah, probably day mood, and that's what happened. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he played 25 minutes. So
Yeah.
all right, and fun facts.
Uh well,
Oh, did I skip something?
no no spoilers here, but Calgary has a home playoff game for the first round. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's
May 6th.
playoff atmosphere is impressive. Calgary is always such a loud building to begin with. Like it looks like
Yeah.
so much fun there when you see everybody just having a good time, partying, drinking,
It
dancing.
definitely lives up to its name as coming for the party, staying for the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, just the whole atmosphere and being around it is like nothing in this world.
yeah,
And then I don't know if it's still true, but Zach Courier had the #1 spot for loose balls that week with over 200 loose balls in this season.
that's crazy.
Yeah, he was first in the NLL. I haven't double checked it lately
I'll
because it
pull it
might
up
have
while we're
changed.
talking. Yeah, no, it's all
Yeah,
right. Go on with some of the other ones. I'll be able to check them all while we're going through.
that's the only one that I got for that one.
All right,
Yeah,
but are we to the fun facts yet? Because I didn't pull up that
yeah,
email. I've got the next
that
one up.
was fun fact. Sorry.
Gotcha. All right, so
Yeah,
I am looking up Jeff Courier
Zach Courier.
or Zach Courier. I was like, ah, I got Jeff Cornwall.
Yeah.
Zach Courier. Uh, that's annoying. When you click on the when you click on the player to see the stats, you can't. So 218 loose balls,
Huh. Yeah.
and he is still #1.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's crazy to think about. And then we move on to the Vegas game.
Well, what's crazy too is Reed Bowering's next with 210. So that's eight. That's 8 more pickups. Jake Withers, who's a face-off guy, you know,
Yeah.
he's got 208. Trevor Baptiste, yeah, he might have heard of these two guys, the top two face-off guys in the league. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really impressive stat to have.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it, Greg, but they announced the national championship teams today too.
They did.
Well, at least Canada did. I don't know about U.S.
Yeah,
But
I
on that team, we have Zach Courier, we have Jake Withers.
that's awesome. You know what?
It it's
That's
a crazy time.
Do you know where that's being played?
Not off the top of my head, no. Do you?
Yeah, Utica.
Oh, it's being played in Utica. I didn't even see you
Yeah,
point at the hat.
it's being played in Utica. Yeti. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was announced there a couple weeks ago that it's going to be played in Utica. I'm really excited. I'm hoping I get to be a part of it. I've got my fingers crossed. I've got a couple of
Yeah.
phone calls have been made, nothing official obviously, and I don't know if I'll be like involved at all, or maybe they'll let me film like practice or something at some point. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that would be cool though to be at the Nationals like that.
Yeah, either way, I'll be there as a fan. So, I mean, maybe I'll have to have you hook
Yeah.
me up so I can get an interview with a couple of those Roughneck guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, are we ready to go on to the
Oh yeah.
Vancouver
Vegas
game?
game.
Or,
Vegas.
yes, Vegas. Sorry, I am all out of whack.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of the exact scores actually reflect the game from that previous week.
Yes,
So after first quarter for Calgary, this is April 14th we're talking about now.
the
2
April
1
14th.
after 2-1 after first for Calgary,
Yep.
with Calgary's goals coming from Cookie on the power play and Jeff Cornwall.
Wait, I'm
And
not
for
seeing this
huh?
email. I'm not seeing this one. I've got one for the 17th,
Huh. The 14th, sorry.
the 24th.
No, April 14th and April 8th I'm looking at. Maybe I messed up the dates on them.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, April 14th, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so we had T Cook on the power play and Cornwall score for Calgary. And for Vegas, we have Jay Russ with the only goal of the first.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at the half for Calgary, second quarter, it was 5-3. For Calgary, we had Hayden Dixon, Jesse King, and Josh Courier. And for Vegas, the only goal we had was Jay Phillips and Jay Wrangler.
Wagner.
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got Jay Wagner and Jay Phillips. Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see here. Okay, third quarter for Calgary, we had Shane Simpson, Eli Salama, and Pace times two. So Pace was really putting in the work for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing though too is when you look there. So Simpson and Salama both more defensive. They'll play transition and get up the floor a little bit, but that's such a big part of that team. You see it every game. You're getting transition guys, D guys getting up the floor and getting those goals.
Yeah, and a lot of what I saw last game actually was Delbs wasn't making those long passes he is known for. He was more making shorter passes and giving the guys room to run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how different teams. So I noticed that the first time you guys played Vegas. Uh
Yeah,
so yeah, you Jacob Rui scored in the third quarter and Jack Hanna had two, one of them on the power play for Vegas. But that
yeah,
is one thing that Vegas does really well is they throw out three defensive guys fast. Like they're
yeah,
really responsible about always making sure they leave a high guy. And I mean, obviously you see that you had Simpson and Salama were still able to score, but they had to get around guys or create space.
yeah. No, and that is a lot of what Calgary's been doing the last few games. Now that they have teams figured out and they can adjust their strategies according to what team they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then fourth quarter, we had King, Cookie, and Waters score in the fourth. And for Vegas, for some reason it says K Waters. I must have done this
No,
overnight.
it's Jake Rouet.
Oh yeah, Jake Bouvet.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Ruest. He played for the Firewolves last year too. That's how I know who how to pronounce his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I tell you
And
that Vegas
final
has
score was 12-7.
yeah, and that Vegas team has been like you said they've got their first or not their first they didn't make the playoffs, right?
No.
Right. But they I wouldn't be surprised if they're done. I don't even
Yeah,
actually
they're
know.
done.
Yeah, That's so Panther City is who I had messed up with there for a second, since Panther
Yeah.
City made their first one. And the way that they played though, I would not be surprised next year if Vegas doesn't get in there.
Right? For an expansion team to make the push that they did, I I was honestly impressed.
Yeah, and I see that Bertrand didn't play that in that game. Bertrand is usually one of their uh, better players. He's a 3-1-5er. He's from just outside of Utica. Paul, the Utica Yeti GM, he knows the family. No, we
Nice.
did not talk about Albany yet, Josh. We will get to Albany in a little bit. We're catching up on a couple of old weeks. Josh was in the comments. Nice to. I finally got to see
Nice.
Josh. He saw me. I waved the crutch at him. It was awesome. All right, keep going
Nice.
though.
Okay. So it was final score was 12-7. Now we get into some top stuff. Top goal getters in night were Cookie for Calgary with 2 goals.
Yep.
And Vegas, we have Jacob Roost with 3.
Yeah. Rouet, Jake Rouet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a really good player.
Yeah. And then top assists in night were King for Calgary with 5 assists. And Vegas, we had John Phillips with 2.
Nice.
Yeah. And then for loose balls, we have Eli Salama with a total of 9. And for Vegas, we have Tor Reinhold with 9 in there as well.
All right.
Yeah. And then fun facts. Calgary had, watch, I'm probably going to butcher this number, 12,998
Nice attendance.
fans in the stadium.
That's slamming.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy night for sure.
Yeah. And I was checking, and Zach Courier had 7 loose balls on the night as well, because Salama.
Nice.
So that's why, like, you see so many guys they've got with so many loose balls. Yeah, very responsible team. Uh, they they just hoover them up out there.
Yeah, no, and a lot of that was friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
And then what I missed, Calgary had 47 shots on Joel Watson, and Vegas had 38 shots on Delps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joel Watson, he played for that Bats team at Laxney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a good he's I got to film him. He's a great goalie.
Yeah, no, watching some of the stuff he shut down, I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that to be a good save, but damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cookie had 6 points of the night to get it to his 100th in his career. These are all fun facts now. And I would be ashamed of myself if I missed this. My buddy Jeff Cornwell was on fire with 1 goal, 1 assist, 6 loose balls, 3 block shots, and 2 caused turnovers.
Yeah. Great night for him.
Yeah, talk about a productive night, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
crazy. And then next 2 games, Calgary and Panther City play again this week on Friday, April 21st at 6:30 Mountain Time.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's all I got on those 2 games.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, playoffs are coming too, Greg.
Playoffs are coming for not for us, unfortunately. Unfortunately for us Albany Firewolves fans, me and Josh are not going to be. But so
Yeah.
the next game we're talking about for you is actually uh that was a good week for Albany. They
Yeah.
managed to beat Rochester. I
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't get to attend, but what a great game. They brought Marshall Powless in, and
Yeah.
I'm really not surprised. You've got to interview him as well. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
Right before he went to you guys, actually.
Yeah, he is the way he sees the floor and his vision, and he can move the ball around like crazy. He throws behind the back passes, and he doesn't. He'll get a few goals, but his big I think his biggest asset is his assist and the way he
Yeah.
plays. And there's been a lot of I tell you, there's Albany's offense looked good that night, obviously, but
Yes.
yeah, it's not. Dougie was on fire. He had he played well. The defense really stepped up, and the bigger thing was is they had Hartley figured out pretty well, and that's not something that happens often. Hartley had been playing amazing. Rochester's kind of fallen off, and when you look at them losing to Albany like that, it's like, I mean, I'm really glad the Firewolves beat them, and it was a great effort. And I don't mean to take
Yeah.
anything away from the Firewolves because, uh,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, if you're trying to be a competitor in the East, that's a tough loss.
Yeah. No, for sure. And are you hoping to get some good stuff come trade season?
Well, we've got the top three picks.
You guys got the top three picks.
Yeah,
How'd that work?
that's why we didn't have a ton of experience up on offense this year. We got rid of
uh,
all of our guys, and we've got a bunch of people locked down. Yeah,
yeah. Well, top three picks. You're looking at some really good up and comers that you guys can snag away with.
yeah, and like Josh said in the comments too, Paulus is a point guard. That is a great way to look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he really is, and the way he throws things out there is I don't know, it's top in the league, and you've seen it so far. And when we got to watching that last game against the Swarm, it was great to see Lyle Thompson be Lyle Thompson and all that. We'll get into that here in a minute, but
Yeah.
the getting to watch like the one bright spot was like watching Marshall Paulus out there.
Yeah.
Like and there's a few other offense guys. They had a couple of minutes, and there's a few of them that really got the effort, but the ball just did not seem to want to go their way. But those first two goals, he scores one, and the other one, he wasn't on the score sheet for it. But I love when you see that, like the guy sets the screen and just drives, and he gets two guys, and he blocks them, and he's just getting smashed in the face as he's standing in the way to and that was completely why they were able to score the other goal. And Ethan Walker, he's another one of those guys, puts in a ton of effort. He has been awesome.
Yeah. No, it sounds like Albany winning that game was a big encouragement for you guys for sure.
Yeah, and Josh actually explained it better in the comments than when we have three first round picks from last year that were in college, so they're all coming this year, which is
Oh,
why
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so which is why I think having Marshall Paulus down there and then like
Yeah.
Ethan Walker has been great. Connor Kelly's definitely had his moments. Tanner Thompson, there's definitely had a lot of bright spots. Heine's been pretty quiet, really. I don't know, it didn't feel like he ever quite fit in. They don't seem in sync. He either needed to like take charge or I don't know. It just didn't seem to work out, and he's always like just missing, and it's unfortunate. And it's a lot of young guys that are trying to learn box. I'm really excited for. Uh, we do have the number one pick in this upcoming draft as well. So in
Nice.
theory, we should be good to go.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the younger draft picks are have to do is they have to learn to adapt to the box game from playing field.
Yes. Yeah, and that I mean, but there's also a lot of they've got they're definitely growing box wise, and they've
Yeah.
definitely got some, but like you said, and actually I'll jump into this game real quick because there was not a lot of bright spots for Albany at the beginning,
Yeah.
but they at least in the fourth quarter. Granted, Georgia kind of let off the gas there, but one thing is Q has been on fire so Albany traded Q, and Q has been doing great down there. He fits in with that offense, amazing. So props to those guys and making that fit work. And they put on a great show. It was that first quarter was
Nice.
very tough to watch as an Albany fan. It yeah,
Yeah.
they just destroyed us. And Shane Jackson has been on fire. I think he is another one of those guys down there in Georgia because everybody likes to talk about when you talk about Georgia, everybody talks about Lyle, and Lyle is Lyle
Yeah.
Thompson. So I mean, he definitely deserves all the accolades. He gets a ton of assists, but yeah, the way Shane Jackson and Q have been stepping up. Brendan Bomberry is a monster out there. He's a big kid and he just smashes people and he sets the screens, but he's also a huge part of that offense. I mean, he had 2 goals and 5 assists. Yeah,
Crazy.
he the chip on his shoulder from playing there, he just goes. It was a very impressive game for Georgia, not so much for Albany, like I said. So Marshall, yeah, Ethan Walker scored, and it was assist from Patelli and Kelly, but Paulus was completely the reason for that goal in the second quarter. Like, not
Yeah.
completely, obviously. Walker had to shoot and make a great shot, but like it was
Yeah.
one of those things that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Yeah, it just wasn't
Yeah, no. Pal's awareness is just
is
crazy.
second nature, and that's where I think he's going to
Yeah.
be so big with them because he only plays box. He has so much box experience.
Yeah.
You give him more time with those guys and with that team, they're going to get better. But like I said, he was a bright spot in the game. He had another
Oh
goal.
yeah.
Yeah, he played great. The fourth quarter, Patelli lit it up. He's fast. He's getting better at the box game. Connor Kelly,
Yep.
the biggest, yeah, Albany was just missing. They were off by a little. They're just don't seem to quite like Patelli took 10 shots, had 2 goals. It's tough when
Whoa.
you've got, yeah, these guys taking 10 shots and getting 2 goals.
Yeah.
Connor Kelly, 11 shots, 1 goal. When you're, and Connor Kelly's one of those guys that we have to, like, we rely heavily
Yeah.
on Connor Kelly. And when he's not shooting, and that's the problem we had a lot with like Resetaris last year, is when we have these guys that we rely on to take these shots, it's so hard because if that guy's cold or missing or whatever the case is, they pull Dougie. Um, I'm not saying Dougie had his best performance, but I don't feel like all those goals were definitely his fault. Uh,
Yeah.
and when you look at the top points guys, so they gave it to John Patelli, but like I said, Marshall also had 2, and
Nice.
Marshall had 2 assists as well, and they gave the top one to Connor Kelly. But Brendan Bomberry with the 5 assists, he has just been an absolute beast. Shane Jackson for Georgia has been a beast. Dobson looked good, but like Josh said in the comments, they weren't shooting great, so there was a lot of shots kind of
Mhm.
going into the chest and
Yeah.
kind of just not a great performance at all. But they had their moments, and
Nice.
when you look at it, eh, I mean, at the end of the day, it was 15 that they let up, and
Yeah.
Albany is never, even if their offense did what you can expect out of Albany's offense, which is an 11, 12 goal game.
Yeah.
If your defense and your goalie give up 15 goals, you can't completely just blame the offense. I mean, granted, it'd be nice if they had a little more time on the floor, and that's part of the problem with that transition style offense is when that doesn't work, and if you don't get those
Yeah.
rebounds, Calgary falls victim to this sometimes too, because if the guys are
Yep.
shooting, it's a very slippery slope, and it only takes 2, 3 goals. The momentum starts going, it snowballs out of
Yeah.
control, and you
Yeah.
you know
No.
how it is. That's the problem with the transition guys. You live and die by the transition because when you're not getting it. But one thing that Calgary does really well is they get the offensive rebound. And Albany
Yep.
sometimes does. Colton Watkinson if he gets up there. They like some of the guys are really good at it and some of the guys are learning. Albany's got a lot of bright spots. Jakowski, a lot of guys up on offense. I mean, and like the leadership they've got back on their D is good. They don't have Greg Downing anymore.
Yep.
But like Fox is a lot of fun to watch play. He, him, LaFontaine, when they get up there on offense, they're just big bodies that are doing a good job. The problem is Albany's got to find somebody to be that guy to get 4 goals. They really need 2 guys, 3 guys, and between 3 guys that you can count on, 2 of them to get a hat trick or 2 to 4 goals a night. And without
Yeah, they
that,
definitely need that firepower.
but you got to expect your offense to be able to come up with 7 goals a game. So that way your transition maybe gives you a few goals, gets you up to that 10 or 11, and then you really
Yeah,
need your offense though to give you, honestly 8 to 10 goals if you want to win. You can't
Uh,
expect to beat anybody if you can't score double digits in
yeah,
this league.
no, exactly.
It happens, but not very often. So
Yeah,
now let us get on to yeah. Calgary's been very busy.
yeah.
Let's
Calgary's been on fire lately,
yeah.
for sure.
It's we'll get on to kind of what is to come.
Okay.
So they're playing Panther City.
Yeah, so this week Calgary plays Panther City again
Yeah,
in Fort Worth, so that should be an interesting game. If Calgary manages to win that game, they also uh, do a regular hit a regular season record of 13 wins in the season.
yeah. Calgary has built a. So you one thing that I don't know if everybody knows either. I'm sure they have if they've ever really listened to us. Yeah, Josh says in the comments we got Kitchen and Fox are going to get to play up front. They're beast, and it's going to be a bruiser offense. But the
Yeah,
so San Diego has three big goal scorers. I mean, they've got more than that too, but they've got three
yeah,
big goal scorers that all came from Calgary.
yeah,
Calgary's whoever's picking the talent from Calgary, whoever's responsible for drafting or their youth programs that they're affiliated with
yeah.
is it's going to be very very interesting.
Well, it's funny because a lot of our players are in the lacrosse community in BC, and they've just or in Peterborough or wherever, and they're looking for that next guy that could be hit NLL, and they're fostering all this talent.
Yeah, and that's really what it starts with is having young talent that you can rely on. They're getting constant supply of goals. They seem to have all like goalies just, coming out of the woodwork. And
Yeah,
Delbs has played phenomenal the way he lasers the ball up front. But as you look at the playoff season and it started off Saskatchewan really kind of dropped out of the West in Panther City. It did allow them the chance to move on up. And then Colorado, who seemed like they were having one of those seasons again where it's like, oh,
yeah,
Colorado's not out, and then they start kind of warming up.
yeah. No, I when I saw that Colorado had clinched, I was like, "Huh, they managed to do it."
Yeah. So congratulations to Colorado for being able to land that one. Albany is playing Philadelphia on Sunday, which I actually don't know now. I just realized Utica Yeti has tryouts, and we are supposed to be there running a booth, and we will be there selling merchandise and filming for
Nice,
the Yeti. So yeah, we're doing the Yeti shirts, coins and stuff. Hopefully we're getting
nice,
back into it. It's been a little crazy for her,
cool.
so all of her projects have been put off. She's peeling away on the vinyl right now, going nuts. She
Nice.
should be giving some to me. I could get it all peeled up for her. But
Hopefully, my cup gets in that rotation somewhere.
your cup, the decals are on it. We just have to wait for a chance to pour epoxy. And the problem is with
Ah, gotcha.
any dust at all, and then it
Yeah.
ruins the stuff with the epoxy. So that's like you need basically a clean room for 3 days. Where
Oh
like
wow.
yeah yeah. So like I can sit in here, but that's about it. Nothing else can really happen in this room because any dust and then it I don't care. It all sticks to the epoxy. So you have to like hospital room style ventilate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then yeah, the West is basically proven again this year that they are definitely in the conversation. Everybody always talks about how the East, the East, the East. Our winner
Yeah.
last year came out of the West. The West has done fairly well with
Yeah.
the Eastern teams this year. It's been an awesome season. We started the show an hour ago. I don't think we've been going for an hour because it took me quite a
Oh
while to
wow.
get this all fired up and roll. Oh man, we've been going for 40 minutes. But
Okay.
oh my goodness, it's time for us to turn it in. I can't wait. We were
Yeah.
talking about maybe the watch party. If I can get my ESPN subscription unlocked, we'll definitely maybe do it as long as I'm home. Cause
Yeah. Well.
they play Friday night, right?
Yeah. Friday. I don't know. I might have a prior commitment depending on when someone's coming over. So.
Yeah, well, we on Yeti Talks this week, we're gonna play a bunch of highlights from the Stick Makers tournament. So
Nice.
yeah, that's where all the highlights came from on my Instagram and Facebook. I set
Sweet.
today because finally I had to wait for my son to get out of school yesterday, set up the computer, and then by the time it was going, Josh says, "Yay, watch party!" So yes, we should definitely try to set
Hey.
one up. They are a blast. Maybe Owen will just
Yeah.
have to host it with the because you've how is it you watch it?
I watch it on TSN. Yeah,
All right,
TSN Plus,
let's we will
which is like
notify.
our equivalent to your guys' ESPN.
Yeah, so let me know when you figure it out, Owen, and maybe
Yep.
Blue Squatch will do one. If not, we'll figure it out. We'll get one going. But
Oh yeah.
Yeti
Maybe for the second round of the playoffs because
definitely
I
playoffs are
I
going to be
probably
watch
I
parties.
probably won't be at that game because they want $400 for my seats for playoffs, and I said no.
I can't blame you at all. But watch parties will definitely be going on through the playoffs. I am super
Yeah.
excited. Go playoff lacrosse and NABLL and everything's going to be fired up here. So the
Oh
Spirits, the
yeah.
Yetis, a bunch of teams in Albany. Josh, you've got three local teams that just fired up. I got to talk to a couple of the guys. There's a tryout,
Nice.
Josh. If anybody thinks they want to play, get a hold of one of these teams in the area. Uh, you play. I unfortunately don't play. I just stick to the streaming side of it. I've got crutches right now, so I'm definitely not playing. But
Yeah.
all right, it'll be awesome. Owen, thanks as always, and
Yeah. That sounds good, man.
run us up and just tell us some of the guys that you've interviewed because you have had quite a few interviews on Tech Lax, and I saw you interviewed Aaron Bowl.
I did. So I still have quite a few interviews in the pipeline. I've got do. Oh, I've done a lot of guys from the Junior A Mounties here in town. I've done Larson Sundown from New York Riptide. I've done just looking through my files here actually.
Yeah, you've got a ton, that's for sure.
Yeah. I've done Vancouver guys from Vancouver. I've done Panther City. I've done
You've done all kinds of interviews,
Roughnecks.
so yes, everybody definitely check out the Tech Lax OJ the Dude. I'm gonna make your picture a little. Actually, I'm just gonna drag you down here so we can fit you in. Boom.
Yeah, and
Oh,
actually, I made a hoodie, got a hoodie made for World Autism Day, so that's
yes,
kind of some
we
swag.
we do. We've got a bunch of swag for you.
Nice.
We've got all the metal stuff burned up. We've got some OJ the Dude keychains. We've got some. Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
You're gonna be
Sweet.
excited when you get it. It's like I
I
said,
can't wait, Greg.
the clean
It's gonna.
room is the biggest issue with the epoxy, but we have some other stuff to epoxy as well. So it'll all be happening. Thank you so much, Josh. As always,
Yeah.
thank you for being in the comments. We really appreciate all the support. OJ, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Th-
sir.